Starwoman, this transmission found you at the exact moment your heart was asking a question. Your lips were too tired to speak. Why did they go silent? Why did the man who once reached for you suddenly retreat? Why did his messages become shorter, his warmth become distant, and his presence turn into a space you could feel but no longer touch? You may have wondered if you said too much, loved too deeply, or revealed a part of yourself he was not ready to hold. But the truth is more unexpected than rejection. Their silence is not always proof that you are forgotten. Sometimes it is the final movement of a bond that has completed its lesson. Sometimes it is the nervous system of an unawakened man reacting to the light of a woman he cannot control. And sometimes, beloved, silence is the protection placed around you while your soul prepares to receive a love that does not require begging, chasing, explaining, or waiting. The plot twist is this. You may think they are deciding whether to come back to you, while your higher self is deciding whether they are still allowed to enter your future. You have been reading their silence as a verdict about your worth. Today, Zoria asks you to see it as a revelation about their capacity. There is a reason the door became quiet. There is a reason your womb wisdom has felt restless. There is a reason the old connection no longer feels like home. Stay with me, because before this transmission ends, you will understand what their silence is truly showing you, why it arrived now, and what happens when you stop being the woman who waits and become the queen who magnetizes. First, hear this clearly. Silence is a language, but it does not always say the thing your fear translates. When a man disappears, your mind may rush to the most painful explanation. He found someone else. He lost interest. You were too emotional. You asked for too much. You were not beautiful enough, soft enough, easy enough, or patient enough. The sacred feminine has been trained to inspect herself whenever a man withdraws. She searches her body, her words, her timing, and her heart for the mistake that caused the distance. But a mature woman does not measure her value by a man's ability to communicate. An unawakened man can feel a profound connection and still become frightened by what it requires of him. He can desire your tenderness while resisting accountability. He can miss you and still refuse to change. He can feel your energy in every room and still choose avoidance because your presence awakens the parts of himself he has kept asleep. This is why his silence may feel charged. It is not empty. It contains conflict. It contains the pressure between who he has been and who he would need to become to stand beside you. You were not asking for perfection. You were asking for honesty. You were asking for consistency. You were asking for a relationship where you did not have to carry both hearts. Yet the moment you stopped accepting crumbs, the connection became quiet. This is not because your standards destroyed love. It is because your standards exposed the absence of love in its mature form. There is a difference between a man who needs a little space to process and a man who uses silence to keep you anxious. There is a difference between sacred pause and emotional punishment. One returns with clarity. The other returns when he senses your energy leaving. Your body already knows which one this is. Notice how you feel when you imagine his name appearing on your phone. Do you feel peace, or do you feel the old tightening in your chest? Do you feel welcomed, or do you immediately prepare to prove that you are worthy of being chosen? Your womb wisdom does not speak in arguments. It speaks through contraction, exhaustion, and the sudden loss of desire to explain yourself again. Starseed, this message found you for a reason. Comment. I am ready if you feel the Pleiadian call. Some transmissions don't come through words, they come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 5,500 women have already activated their Pleiadian love codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. 5D. Love Manifestation, the Pleiadian 33-day method to attract your soulmate is a 75-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance, plus 5 free bonuses. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment, only 72 hours at the launch price. Now let us travel deeper, because the silence may not be about his lack of feeling. It may be about his inability to meet the woman your awakening has created. You have changed in ways you cannot reverse. A year ago, you might have accepted a late-night message as proof of desire. You might have answered immediately, hoping your availability would inspire devotion. You might have called his confusion a spiritual connection and his inconsistency a difficult phase. You might have poured your healing into him until you could no longer hear your own soul. But the frequency has shifted. The old version of you believed love meant remaining available while a man decided. She waited for a sign, a confession, an apology, a sudden awakening. She made his potential more real than his behavior. She called herself loyal, but beneath that loyalty was fear. Fear that if she stopped holding the connection, it would vanish forever. Beloved, what is truly aligned with you does not need you to hold it together alone. This is the first plot twist. Your silence may be as important as his. Perhaps you did not become quiet because you stopped caring. Perhaps you became quiet because your soul finally understood that speaking into a closed heart only teaches you to abandon yourself. When you stopped sending the message, checking the story, asking mutual friends, or creating reasons to cross his path, the energetic contract began to dissolve. He felt the absence of the energy you had been supplying. You had been carrying the emotional bridge. You were initiating, forgiving, encouraging, translating, and creating hope for two people. When you stepped back, the bridge did not collapse because you failed. It revealed that he had never been building his side. This is why some men become curious when you go quiet. They are not always missing your whole presence. Sometimes they are missing the access they had to your attention. They miss being comforted without being accountable. They miss the soft place where they could rest while giving you uncertainty. Do not confuse his discomfort with transformation. A man can feel your absence and still not be ready for your presence. He can return because the silence disturbed him, then repeat the same pattern because he has not met himself honestly. The sacred feminine does not celebrate every return. She asks, what has changed in the space between leaving and coming back? Your new task is not to decode his feelings. It is to observe his capacity. Does he speak plainly? Does he name what happened? Does he take responsibility without making you drag the truth out of him? Does his effort continue after the emotional reunion? Does his behavior create safety? Or does it only create another intense beginning? The Pleiadian man does not make you audition for basic consideration. He does not keep you suspended in a fog so he can enjoy your devotion without offering direction. His love is not perfect, but it is present. It does not force your nervous system to become a detective. And this brings us to the second revelation. Your silence is not a strategy to make him chase you. It is a sacred boundary that lets reality speak. If you are quiet only to provoke him, you are still orbiting him. Your energy remains attached to his reaction. But when your quiet comes from self-respect, you are no longer performing absence. You are returning to yourself. That return changes everything. You may notice old memories rising. You may suddenly remember the nights you cried and still defended him. You may feel grief for the woman who believed one more conversation would finally make him understand. Let the grief move through you. Do not shame her. She was not foolish. She was loving with the tools she had. But now she has new tools. She has discernment. She has standards. She has a relationship with her own inner voice. She knows that love should expand her life, not consume it. She knows that a soulmate connection can be powerful without being chaotic, and that intensity alone is not evidence of destiny. This is where many star women make a painful mistake. They assume that if the connection feels magnetic, it must be meant to continue. Yet some bonds are magnetic because they activate an old wound. They pull you toward the exact lesson you have been trying to complete. The unavailable man may have been a mirror. He showed you how often you abandon your needs to preserve possibility. He showed you the places where you confused waiting with devotion. He showed you the difference between being desired in moments and being chosen in reality. And when the lesson is complete, silence arrives like a curtain closing after the final scene. Do not reopen it merely because you missed the music. There is also a reason you may feel his energy more strongly now. When a bond is releasing, the mind often reaches for what the soul is removing. You may dream of him. You may see his name. You may feel a sudden wave of longing in the morning. This does not automatically mean he is your twin flame calling you back. It may mean your energetic body is clearing a familiar pattern. Ask a better question then, is he thinking of me? Ask, what part of me is still waiting for permission to move on? The answer may surprise you. Perhaps it is the younger you who wanted to finally be chosen by a distant man. Perhaps it is the part that believes a difficult love is more valuable than an easy one. Perhaps it is the fear that no one else will create the same chemistry. But chemistry is not a home. A spark can illuminate a room and still not keep you warm. If this message is naming your experience, I invite you to place your answer below. What are you releasing from this silent connection? The waiting, the guessing, or the need to prove your worth? Write one word. Let your comment become a declaration to your own spirit. And if this transmission is helping you breathe more freely, like this video and subscribe, so you remain connected to these teachings for the next stage of your awakening. Now, beloved, we must speak about the man who is silent because he senses your future. Some women will hear this and immediately imagine that his silence proves he is secretly preparing a grand return. I want to protect your heart from another form of waiting. There may be a man who feels your transformation from a distance. There may be a future partner whose energy is approaching. But your work is not to sit beside the door and watch for him. The Pleiadian frequency man is drawn to a woman who is living, not suspended. He does not need you to become smaller, quieter, or endlessly available. He is not searching for a woman who will heal him while he avoids his own healing. He recognizes the woman whose life has become sacred even before he enters it. He feels the woman who has stopped negotiating with emptiness. This is why the old man may go quiet as you rise. The frequency that once connected you is changing. You are no longer transmitting the signal of "convince me to stay." You are transmitting, "meet me in truth" or "release me in peace." Many men cannot respond to that frequency. Some withdraw because they cannot access you through confusion anymore. Some become silent because they sense that apologies without action will no longer work. Some feel the new standard and choose the easier path elsewhere. Let them choose. A queen does not chase a man away from his own immaturity. She does not stand outside the temple of his heart, knocking until he decides to open. She blesses the door, turns toward the light, and keeps walking. There is a sacred difference between a twin flame separation and a trauma bond withdrawal. Both can feel like an ache through the body. Both can create dreams, signs, and intense memories. But one gradually calls both people toward responsibility, while the other keeps one person exhausted and the other person comfortable. Do not use spiritual language to excuse emotional neglect. The universe is not asking you to tolerate disrespect because a connection is karmic. Your guides are not demanding that you wait through betrayal to prove you are devoted. Love is not measured by how much pain you can survive. A true spiritual union brings lessons, yes. It may include timing, distance, and periods of inner work. But it will never require you to destroy your dignity to preserve the bond. The path may be challenging, but it will not continually ask you to deny what your body knows. Your body knows the difference between anticipation and anxiety. Anticipation has softness. Anxiety has a clock. Anticipation allows you to live your day. Anxiety makes you check your phone in the middle of everything. Anticipation is open. Anxiety is attached to one outcome. The queen who magnetizes does not stop loving. She stops abandoning herself in the name of love. When she becomes quiet, she is not trying to punish him. She is listening for the voice beneath the noise. She is asking her womb, her heart, and her higher self, does this connection nourish my mission? She is no longer impressed by a man who can awaken desire. She is watching for the man who can protect peace. This is the third plot twist. Their silence may be creating the space where your real love can finally recognize you. As long as your emotional field is filled with an absent man, a present man may not be able to reach you. Not because the universe is punishing you. Because your attention is a form of invitation. Every time you rehearse his possibilities, you send your life force toward the past. Every time you imagine what you will say when he returns, you keep your inner door occupied. The Pleiadian frequency man cannot meet a woman who is still negotiating with a ghost. Release does not mean you stop remembering. It means the memory no longer directs your choices. It means you can love what was and still refuse what it became. It means you can be grateful for the awakening without reopening the wound. When you stop caring in the old romantic way, you are not becoming cold. You are becoming available for a higher caliber of love. And if he returns, you will know what to do. You will not be swept away by the first, "I miss you." You will wait for the complete sentence. You will watch for the changed pattern. You will ask what he wants, what he is prepared to offer, and why he believes access to you should be restored. You will not punish him. You will not rescue him. You will simply let his answer reveal his level. This is the energy of the sacred feminine restored. She does not demand that a man be flawless. She requires that he be awake enough to participate. There is another layer to his silence, and it may be the one that frees you most. Sometimes a man becomes quiet because he knows he cannot give you what you are asking for, but he does not have the courage to say it directly. This is not a secret declaration of love. It is avoidance wearing a mysterious mask. He may care. He may even feel affection, attraction, and regret. But caring is not the same as committing. Missing you is not the same as building with you. Feeling connected is not the same as becoming trustworthy. You must stop making his hidden emotions more important than his visible choices. The heart loves a mystery because mystery allows hope to survive. If he says clearly, "I do not want a relationship," there is pain, but there is also information. If he remains vague, your mind can create 1,000 possible futures. You can make his silence romantic. You can call it fear, divine timing, or a masculine awakening. Sometimes it is simply a man choosing not to have an uncomfortable conversation, and you deserve the truth, even when the truth closes a door. A loving woman may be tempted to soften this reality. She may say, "He has wounds. He had a difficult childhood. He is afraid of intimacy. I can be patient." Compassion is beautiful, but compassion without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. You are not his rehabilitation center. You are not required to be the woman who teaches him how to love by allowing him to practice avoidance on your heart. His wounds are real, but they do not become your assignment. His potential is sacred, but it is not your relationship. The moment you stop trying to heal the toxic or immature man, something extraordinary happens. The energy you used to send toward his transformation returns to your own body. Your sleep deepens. Your creativity comes back. Your sensuality becomes yours again. You begin to feel desire that is not attached to being chosen by him. This is womb wisdom reclaiming its throne. The womb is not only a place of creation, it is a place of discernment. It knows what can enter your life and what must remain outside. It knows when a man's presence brings nourishment and when it brings a subtle hunger that never ends. Place your hand over your lower belly tonight. Breathe slowly. Ask, if I knew I would never receive another message from him, what would my soul ask me to do next? Do not answer from panic. Wait for the quieter answer. Maybe it will ask you to remove the conversation from your phone. Maybe it will ask you to stop checking his page. Maybe it will ask you to forgive yourself for staying. Maybe it will ask you to open your life to new people without comparing each one to him. That answer is not punishment. It is your timeline changing. You may also discover that you went quiet because you were tired of being misunderstood. You expressed your needs, but they were treated like demands. You asked for reassurance, and he called you needy. You wanted clarity, and he called you intense. You desired consistency, and he said you were putting pressure on the connection. Listen to me, star woman. The right man does not make you ashamed of having emotional needs. He may need time, he may have limits, he may communicate differently. But he will not continually make you feel like your longing for a safe relationship is a defect. He will not use your sensitivity as a reason to give less. He will become curious about your heart. The man aligned with you will not be threatened by the depth that made the old man silent. He will be grateful for it. He will see your intuition as a gift, not an inconvenience. He will understand that your softness is not permission to be careless. So if you went quiet, perhaps it was because your soul was finished translating your pain into language he could ignore. Perhaps the silence is not occurring between you and him. Perhaps it is occurring between you and the old identity you held in that relationship. The identity that waited, the identity that overgave, the identity that believed being chosen by a difficult man would prove she was extraordinary. You do not need his awakening to validate yours. You are already extraordinary because you chose truth when fantasy was more comfortable. Now, allow me to reveal what may happen next. When you truly detach, one of two paths usually opens. The old man may return, sensing that your energy is no longer available in the same way. Or a new connection may appear with a calmness that initially feels unfamiliar. If the old man returns, do not interpret the timing as automatic destiny. Test the frequency through behavior. Is he coming toward you with a plan or only with emotion? Does he make a clear invitation or does he drop a breadcrumb? Does he honor your boundaries or does he become distant when you ask for definition? A return is not the miracle. A transformed pattern is. If a new man appears, do not reject him because he does not create the same nervous system storm. You may have been trained to identify uncertainty as passion. Peace can feel strangely quiet when your heart has lived on emotional adrenaline. You may wonder why you are not obsessed. Beloved, obsession is not always chemistry. Sometimes it is your body trying to solve an old danger. The Pleiadian frequency. Man may feel like an exhale. He may be warm without being overwhelming, interested without being invasive, clear without making you chase. He may not activate the part of you that wants to prove yourself, and that is precisely why he can reach the part of you that is ready to be loved. Do not confuse calm with lack of attraction. Learn to let safety become sensual. This is the fourth revelation. Your love life changes when your nervous system stops treating uncertainty as home. You have the power to retrain your inner field. Each time you choose not to check, chase, or create a fantasy around his silence, you teach your body that love can survive without control. Each time you say no to an inconsistent invitation, you teach your soul that desire does not outrank dignity. Each time you allow a disappointing truth to be true, you create room for a beautiful truth to find you. Your manifestation is not only what you visualize, it is what you are willing to stop tolerating. You can speak affirmations about a soulmate while secretly remaining devoted to a man who has shown you he cannot meet you. You can ask the universe for sacred union while keeping your emotional calendar reserved for someone absent. The higher timeline begins when your choices agree with your prayer. That is why your silence has power now. It is not a tactic. It is evidence that your inner world is becoming coherent. You are saying, without explanation, I will no longer use my life force to convince a closed door to become a home. And the universe understands this language. The next revelation is about shame. You may feel embarrassed that you care so much. You may judge yourself for still hoping, still dreaming, or still feeling tenderness toward a man who has gone quiet. Please do not turn his silence into a second wound by attacking yourself. Healing is not always a clean departure. Sometimes you release in layers. One day you feel free. The next day a song opens the old ache. This does not mean you are back at the beginning. It means another layer is ready to leave. Do not make contact simply because grief became loud. Grief asks to be felt, not obeyed. You can miss someone and still know they are not good for your future. You can love a soul and refuse a dynamic. You can bless a connection and remove your body from its reach. These are not contradictions. This is mature spiritual love. The sacred feminine is not the woman who never feels pain. She is the woman who refuses to make pain the price of admission. When you feel tempted to reach out, pause for 24 hours. Write the message in a private place. Then ask yourself 3 questions. Am I seeking connection or relief from anxiety? Has this person demonstrated the capacity to respond with care? Will sending this message honor the woman I am becoming? If the answer is no, let the unsent message become an offering to your future. You can also create a new ritual. Every time you think of him, say, I return this energy to my heart. Imagine golden light traveling back from his home, his phone, his social page, his memories, and returning to your chest. Then place your attention on one living thing in front of you. Your breath, your work, your body, a friend, the sky. This is how you call yourself home. Do not wait for a final explanation before you begin. Some endings never provide the perfect conversation. Some people cannot give closure because the behavior that hurt you is the same behavior that prevents them from explaining it. Your closure may be the pattern itself. Their silence told you what their words avoided. Their absence showed you what their promises could not repair. Their inconsistency clarified what your intuition had been whispering for months. And here is the plot twist you never saw coming. You are not being rejected by the love meant for you. You are being redirected from the love that required you to reject yourself. The pain feels personal because the relationship touched your deepest longing. But the redirection is precise. Your guides are not removing love. They are removing the role you played to receive a little of it. No more emotional caretaker. No more spiritual excuse maker. No more woman standing in the doorway of a man's potential while her own future waits behind her. You have carried enough. At the end of this cycle, the question will not be, why did he go silent? The question will be, why did I once believe his silence had the authority to define my life? You will look back and understand that your quiet was not emptiness. It was the sound of your soul disconnecting from the old frequency. And when your frequency changes, your choices change. Your choices change your field. Your field changes who can recognize you. This is why I ask you not to chase a sign today. Do not search for his name in every coincidence. Do not make every dream a command to return. Ask instead for a sign of your own alignment, a sudden peace, a new invitation, a desire to create, a boundary that feels clean instead of cruel. The universe may send you the man you have been waiting for, but first it sends you the version of yourself who can recognize him. That version does not need to be convinced. She does not mistake pursuit for devotion. She does not reward distance with more access. She is receptive, but she is not available to confusion. She can say, I love you, and this is not enough for me. She can say, I understand your fear, and I will not live inside it with you. She can say, if you want a place in my life, meet me with truth. This is not hardness. This is a loving gate. Starseed, this message found you for a reason. Comment. I am ready if you feel the Pleiadian call. Some transmissions don't come through words, they come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 5,500 women have already activated their Pleiadian love codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. 5D. Love Manifestation. The PLEIADIAN 33-Day Method to Attract Your Soulmate is a 75-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance, plus 5 free bonuses. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment, only 72 hours at the launch price. As this transmission closes, place your hand over your heart and receive this final truth. His silence may continue for a while. He may return tomorrow, next month, or never. Your healing cannot depend on which option he chooses. Your freedom begins when his timeline stops controlling your emotional weather. You are not here to spend your incarnation waiting for a man to discover what he lost. You are here to remember what you are. You are a star woman. You carry a frequency that exposes false love because your soul was designed for truth. This is why shallow bonds exhaust you. This is why inconsistent men can feel attractive at first, but unbearable later. Your system can no longer digest what your spirit has outgrown. You are not too much. You are too awake for a relationship built on half-presence. You are not difficult to love. You are difficult to manipulate now. You are not being punished by a delayed union. You are being prepared for a union that does not ask you to betray your knowing. If the old connection was meant to transform, it must transform through both people. You cannot meditate for him, heal for him, wait for him, or awaken for him. You can send compassion, but you cannot carry his soul across a threshold he refuses to approach. Release him from your assignment. Release yourself from his unfinished story. Let the silence become a clean space. Fill it with music that belongs to you, conversations that nourish you, movement that returns you to your body, and dreams that do not include convincing anyone. Open your calendar to life. Wear the clothes you saved for a special date. Visit the place you postponed. Let your beauty exist without waiting for his eyes to witness it. The queen who magnetizes does not sit in an empty room hoping to be found. She lights the room. She lives so fully that aligned love is drawn to the radiance, not to her suffering. Your twin flame, if this is the path your soul has chosen, will not need your collapse to find you. Your soulmate will not require you to remain emotionally loyal to an absent man. The love designed for your higher timeline can reach you more easily when your hands are no longer wrapped around what keeps hurting them. And if there is no immediate new man, do not interpret the space as abandonment. Sacred space is still movement. The pause may be where your standards settle into your bones. It may be where your nervous system learns peace. It may be where the universe removes the last trace of a pattern that would have followed you into the next relationship. You are not waiting in an empty field. You are becoming magnetic. When he is silent, let your life speak. Let your boundaries speak. Let your glow speak. Let your peace say what no message could say. I have returned to myself, and I am no longer available for a love that disappears when it is asked to become real. This is the plot twist. The man you thought you were losing may have been the very connection keeping you from receiving. The silence you thought was a punishment may be the boundary your higher self built around your next beginning. The woman who thought she needed one more answer may be becoming the woman who already knows. You know because your body is tired of pretending. You know because your heart wants consistency more than intensity. You know because your future feels larger than his absence. Tonight, before you sleep, speak these words. I release the need to be chosen by anyone who cannot meet me. I honor what this connection taught me. I call my energy home. I open the sacred field of my heart to reciprocal, conscious, Pleiadian frequency love. I am no longer the woman who waits. I am the queen who magnetizes. Say it slowly. Let your body hear you. Then trust what follows. If he returns with truth, you will recognize it. If he returns with the old pattern, you will recognize that too. If a new man arrives with peace, you will not run from the unfamiliar. And if the next chapter begins with only you will finally understand that you were never alone. Your guides, your ancestors, your Pleiadian family, and your own awakened soul have been standing beside you in every silent moment. The silence did not erase you. It revealed you. You are the one who stopped chasing. You are the one who stopped healing an unwilling man. You are the one who chose the dignity of truth over the comfort of possibility. You are the one whose womb is becoming a sanctuary, not a waiting room. And somewhere beyond the old timeline, the love that can meet you is already responding to your new frequency. Walk forward, star woman. Do not look back to see whether he is watching. Let him discover your absence if he must. Let him understand your value from a distance, if that is the only way he can learn. But you do not turn your life into a lesson for a man who refused to listen. Your destiny is not his realization. Your destiny is love that is awake when it reaches you. And so it is.